I don't remember what was causing the tension to swirl through our house like the winds of autumn, sending emotional debris spinning through the air with such intensity that it seemed to smack up against me. What I do remember was what I felt like. Confused and unsafe, as if the stories I could sense on the outside somehow got inside of me. I was helplessly floating in the chaos that surrounded and penetrated me. I was only 4 years old, but I remember the experience vividly. I had to have relief, make it stop. I had to close myself off, ground myself in my body, in Colette. I knew just what to do. I picked up a cooking spoon that had sticky raw cake dough on it, and as soon as I put it in my mouth, I felt calm. Now, that feeling didn't last, but it was very powerful. I had already discovered the connection between food and self-soothing. The fear melted away as the gooey, sweet mess on the spoon dissolved in my mouth and slid down my throat. I was home, in a safe place where that icky feeling of something being very wrong couldn't get inside me again. That sense of physicality as the cake dough entered my body gave me a sense of substance. It made me feel whole and secure. It would be years before I understood this experience or its significance, but when I finally did, everything changed. I realized that the missing piece in the puzzle of my baffling relationship to food, eating, and weight was empathy. I was a person who felt too much, and I was using food to detour away from that awful feeling of not knowing where I ended and others began. Food sealed my porous boundaries where other people's energy invaded me, and it allowed me to feel present in myself. I needed that quiet and calm, but I had to find a better way to achieve it. This revelation ended an exhausting war with food and my weight and began a new chapter for me. While I'm not a size 2, and I can't claim to have the figure of a 20-year-old high-fashion model, most of the time I'm at peace with my body and myself. That alone is an incredible feat, given how much I've struggled with all of this over the years. It was this missing piece of feeling too much that allowed me to stop beating myself up, which, as it turns out, is counterproductive when trying to lose weight, as you'll learn later in this book. Once I did that, I started to better understand the many influences on those formerly dysfunctional relationships between myself, food, and my body. I was able to address those influences too. But it all began with understanding why I was feeling too much and why fear and frustration were making me fat. Porous boundaries. A person who feels too much often senses the need to eat because her experience of the world is too much for her. It's not that she simply loves the taste, texture, smell, and sight of food, which provides a sensory experience. It's not that she's experiencing hunger pangs or even that she's addicted to food, although that may be. Diets don't work for her because they don't address her powerful need to feel grounded in herself, separated from the confusing, distressing emotional turbulence around her. Food serves that purpose. The stress of remaining in the moment without knowing what you are sensing and how to be separate from it is deeply discombobulating for someone who feels too much. The pain and discomfort are intolerable, and you will do anything to escape. If you're highly sensitive and empathetic, that has a profound influence on your weight, as well as your thought processes and your moods, which affect your eating habits and your relationships with others. I'm sure you know all about emotional eating, but you've probably never considered what empathetic eating is. There is a subtle yet profound difference between the two. An example of emotional eating would be feeling so uncomfortable after a conflict with a coworker that you reach for the stash of mini candy bars you keep in your desk drawer to calm your anger and embarrassment. However, let's say that it's not you who is in conflict with someone at work, but two people in another department. You walk into the meeting room where they just had a heated argument, and you feel the tension in the air. You're unsettled and uncomfortable and have no clue why. As other coworkers file into the meeting room, you have a compelling urge to sneak back to your office and grab some candy bars. You start feeling defensive and on alert, and you can't understand why. All you know is that you want those mini chocolates right now. That's empathetic eating.